Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back to do a video that I have never done on this channel before. We're gonna talk about men's fragrances and perfumes in or fragrances in my collection that are actually men's fragrances, or fragrances in my collection that I think would be amazing on a man. I don't have very many actual men's fragrances. I've had so many requests to talk about men's fragrances, but to be completely honest, I'm not very knowledgeable on men's fragrance. I of course know all like the really popular, like overhyped men's fragrances, you know, Dior Fahrenheit, Creed, Aventus, you know, the really hyped up popular ones. Some of the Mugler ones I just think are fantastic, but because I'm not super knowledgeable about it, I tend to just stay in my lane and talk about what I do know, which is women's fragrance. But I do have a few men's fragrances, and I do have some technically women's perfume, but fragrances that I think would be amazing on a man. So I've got quite a few here. I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with the fragrances that are actually men's fragrances that I do have in my collection. The first one is this one here. This is from Guerlain, and this is called L'Homme Ideal Cologne. You can see my husband has used the heck out of this fragrance. This is long discontinued, difficult to find. If you can find it, it's very expensive. So I'm gonna try to hoard the last little bit of this that I've got. I love this. This is a fresh, citrusy almond fragrance. It's a men's fragrance, but I think it's perfectly unisex. This is one that I will wear, and I feel comfortable wearing it. I think it's just beautiful. It smells so good on men. It smells so good on my husband, and it's just a beautiful, like, fresh fragrance that isn't a typical men's fresh fragrance. That's another reason why I don't usually get into men's fragrance a lot, is because sadly I feel like a lot of them all smell the same, which is also why I'm not super knowledgeable on them. But anyways, that is the first one. That is L'Homme Ideal Cologne from Guerlain. Okay, next, this is one that is unisex, but I consider this more of a men's fragrance, and I think it smells way more masculine than it does feminine. This is a fragrance from Hermes, and this is called Elixir Day Mer. Even the original Eau de Merveille, I think, smells more masculine than it does feminine. But yeah, I would consider this a men's fragrance. This is quite a masculine smelling fragrance. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like it's a really beautiful kind of fresh but warm, spiced orange fragrance. A lot of time, this really reminds me of Christmas a lot, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't have this in my Christmas video this past year, because it reminds me of like spiced oranges at Christmas. It's really beautiful though, and it's definitely, I think it leans way more masculine than it does feminine, but it's gorgeous. Especially the Elixir. The Elixir one leans even more masculine, in my opinion, than the original. And I love this. I think that it's warm and spiced. It's light and still kind of slightly fresh. And amazing. I'll have to try to see if I can get my husband to test this one. He has never worn this one before, and I don't know. I'll have to see if he would like this one. So anyways, that is from Hermes, and that is Elixir Day Mer. Actually, I've got three more that I think are more men's fragrances than anything. This one here is definitely a men's fragrance. This is from Cremo, and this is called Spice and Black Vanilla. Cremo is actually like it's a men's like toiletry brand, or yeah, it's kind of like a men's health and beauty brand. They do shaving creams and balms and beard oils and razors and fragrance. I haven't ever smelled Viktor and Rolf Victor and Rolf Spice Bomb, but everybody says that this is a perfect dupe for it. And I love this. It's like a sweet spiced vanilla. It's amazing. I love it. I think it's 100% unisex. I feel completely comfortable wearing it. I don't think it leans too masculine, but this would smell incredible on a man. This is another one I need to try to get my husband to test for me. He might think it's, I don't know, he might think it's a little sweet for him, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. So anyways, this is a men's fragrance in my collection that I absolutely love. Not the greatest performing fragrance in the world, but I've heard Spice Bomb doesn't perform any better than this does. And I've had so many people tell me, if you're going to buy it, just buy the Cremo because they perform about the same. So anyways, yeah, such a beautiful fragrance. That is from Cremo, and that is called Spice and Black Vanilla. Okay, this next one is a Dua fragrance. This is definitely a men's fragrance. This is Dua Intense Homme. This is a clone of, I think it's Dior L'Homme Intense. This is a clone of the original formulation. I know that cologne or that fragrance has been reformulated. I think I've smelled the new formulation as well, and I didn't hate it, but it's not as good as the old one. And this is beautiful. This is like a masculine leaning, sweet, powdery iris. It's beautiful. It's another one, it does definitely lean masculine, but it's not one that I'm uncomfortable wearing. And I just think it is fantastic. Definitely one of my favorite men's fragrances that I've ever smelled. I just think it's phenomenal. It's got so much vanilla in it too. It's like vanilla and iris, and it's really, really warm, kind of slightly heavy. So good. So good. I've got a decant of the original formulation of L'Homme Ideal as well, and this Dua clone is so good. Such a good clone. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. I've never smelled this. I've never actually smelled it on a man though. So yeah, maybe I can get my husband to test out some of these for me. He's not the biggest cologne wearer. Like, he goes through stages where sometimes he'll come and find a cologne in my collection, and he'll take it and he'll use it for a while, but then he'll kind of fall off using colognes and I don't know, or using fragrances. Anyways, that is Dua Intense Homme, such a good one. Okay, and then the only other one that I would actually consider like a men's fragrance is this one from Matthew Meleg. This is Meleg Chocolate Patchouli Vienna 1900, and this is the most beautiful, heavy, earthy, chocolatey patchouli. It's one of my favorite patchoulis in my collection. This one, it's funny because when I wore the patchouli from Reminiscence the other day and it was so cold out and it wasn't heavy enough for the cold, this is what I should have worn, because this would have been heavy enough for the cold. And in fact, as soon as it gets, because we're kind of going through a warm spell right now, but as soon as it really starts to cool down again and get really cold, I'm going to pull this out and wear it. This is beautiful. No sweetness to this at all. This is a dark, earthy patchouli and a beautiful, unsweet, powdered chocolate. It is fantastic. I think that this would be incredible on a man. In fact, I feel like this does lean more masculine than it does feminine because of the lack of sweetness, but I love it. I think that this would just be amazing on a man. If my husband liked patchouli, I would make him wear it, but he does not like patchouli, so this would be a no-go for him. But I think it would be incredible on a man. So anyways, that is Choco Patchouli Vienna 1900 from Matthew Meleg. Okay, and then the rest of these are, I think, considered women's, except for one. I've got a Dreamhouse fragrance here, and it's definitely way more masculine. So actually, I'm going to talk about this one because I feel like this is more of a men's scent than a women's. All of the Dreamhouse scents are unisex, except for some lean very feminine and some lean very masculine. This is one of the ones that I think leans very masculine. Though it's not the kind of masculine that puts me off. I think this is absolutely incredible. This is one of the newer ones from Dreamhouse, and this is called Everyone and Then Again. And this is the most stunning, kind of slightly sweet, not slightly sweet, it is a sweeter fragrance. It's like a sweet, I don't even know how to describe this one. It's like a sweet, maybe very slightly resinous. I am obsessed with this perfume. I forget just how fantastic this is until I smell it. But this is one that I think would smell, again, I will wear this, and I do wear this, and I think it's amazing on women, but I do think that this one leans more masculine than it does feminine, and I just cannot even imagine how good this smells on a man. I'm gonna have to see if I can get my husband to wear this one. This is just phenomenal. I don't even know. I would probably swoon if I smelled this on a dude. Seriously, it's fantastic. So anyways, that is from Dreamhouse Curio, and that is called Everyone and Then Again, and I would consider that more of a men's fragrance. Okay, now the rest of these are either solid unisex, or I would say there's only one in here that would maybe be considered a women's fragrance. I think all of the rest of these are solidly unisex fragrances. Let's start with another Noir fragrance. This is Noir Tonkalicious. This is a clone of Guerlain Tonka Imperial, which I think is a unisex fragrance that leans masculine. It's a beautiful, slightly sweet, very rich, dark Tonka scent. Because it lacks sweetness, it's more of like what I would consider a men's Tonka fragrance. I wouldn't say that this is, this is definitely not groundbreaking, and it's not complex in any way. It's quite linear when you wear it, but it's gorgeous. I love a just like roasty Tonka fragrance, and that's what this is. It's fantastic. I think this would be amazing on a man. I've never smelled, see, and that's the thing, I don't get to smell men's fragrances on men very often, or on anybody or anywhere very often, except for what I've got in my collection. So this is why I say I'm not very knowledgeable and I don't talk about them much. There are so many other fantastic YouTubers here, men YouTubers that are going to be way better with reviewing and talking about men's fragrances than I am. But I do understand that men like to get a women's perspective. So yeah, these are the types of fragrances that I would want to smell in a man though. Anyways, that is Noir Tonkalicious, such a good one, or Guerlain Tonka Imperial. This was sent over by my beautiful friend Christine. This, I think, would just be immaculate on a man. This is from Comme des Garçons, and this is called Incense Avignon. And I think either she told me or somebody left it in a comment that this was maybe Morrissey's signature scent, if I remember correctly. But this is a beautiful like Catholic Church incense fragrance that I think would just smell spectacular on a man. This one is fully unisex. I wear this and it smells amazing on me. I do think it leans a touch masculine though, and I think it would smell even better on a man than it does on me. It's beautiful. So if you're looking for a good incense fragrance, Matthew Meleg also makes an amazing incense fragrance. I think it's called the Eye of Horus on his website. And his is formulated off from a 2,000-year-old formula that they found written, I believe, in the Temple of Horus. But anyways, yeah, beautiful incense fragrance that I think would be amazing on a man. So that is Comme des Garçons, and that is called Incense Avignon. This next one, I think this is considered a woman's fragrance, but I think this would smell spectacular on a man. This is from Parfums Wheel, and this is called Suki Essence. I don't think this has any kind of a nut in it, but I get almost a slight nuttiness from this, like a very slightly nutty, warm but dry chai. I don't get a lot of sweetness from this, which is what makes me feel like it would smell amazing on a man. Though I think sweet fragrances smell amazing on a man. But this one it's very slightly sweet, warm, spiced. I think it's got a little bit of oud in the base, and it's beautiful. Like I said, it's got maybe a slight touch of like a nuttiness that I get, though I don't think it's got any nuts in it. But this is a woman's fragrance that I think would just smell incredible on a man. Very, very unisex. This doesn't lean feminine to my nose at all. Yeah, I just think this would smell phenomenal on a man. So anyways, that is Parfum Wheel's Suki Essence. Again, I do believe it's a woman's. It's marketed towards women, but I think a man could totally rock this one. This next one, this might be another one marketed towards women. I'm not totally sure. Or it might just be marketed as unisex, but I think that this, in my opinion, I think this actually leans a little bit more masculine than it does feminine. This is a fragrance from Pascal Morabito, and this is called Noir. This is like a sweet, you know how you have apple pie ambers? This is like a sweet apple pie oud or a sweet apple pie wood. It's fantastic. I love this. This is like, it is sweet, and you do kind of get almost like ombre narguilé vibes from it, but it's woodier and less sweet than ombre narguilé. It's just beautiful. I think, again, I think this smells a little bit more masculine than it does feminine. I think this would be phenomenal on a man. And I don't know if this is marketed towards women or men. It's 100% unisex though, that's for sure. I love this time of year. I think a man could get, like I couldn't get away with wearing this in the middle of the summer, but I think a man could get away with wearing this all year round. It's a good one. So anyways, that is Pascal Morabito Noir. This next one, this is another one that I think is technically a women's fragrance, but I think it's 100% unisex, and I think this would smell even better on a man than it does on me. This is a fragrance from a house called Rihanna, and this is called Velvet Amber Oud. Every time I talk about this scent, like I don't even know how to describe this scent, because this is like a fresh incense fragrance. It smells like the most beautiful Middle Eastern incense. Yeah, but with this gorgeous freshness about it. I think the freshness in this is like the note is listed as mountain air or something, which what does mountain air even smell like except that I guess it's fresh? But yeah, this is an odd fragrance that I think would just smell so much better on a man than even women. This thing is absolutely nuclear. One spray and you are good. Every time I wear this, and I haven't worn it a ton, like I barely have a dent in this at all because you literally only need one spray. It's so good though. It's just such a good one. And yeah, I think it would smell way better on a man. In fact, to my nose, I think it leans a little bit more masculine. This is like my idea of like a Middle Eastern freshie, which might sound weird, but like a freshy incense fragrance, which again is also weird. But I do love this one. So anyways, that is from Rihanna, and that is called Velvet Amber Oud. You can find this one on Fragrance X. This next one, I would have never thought of this as a men's scent or as really even as a unisex scent until Vincent from Dreamhouse said that he bought this and he wears this. This is a fragrance that he's got in his collection. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, light bulb, absolutely, that would smell incredible on a man. This is Van Cleef and Arpels Orchid Vene. Yes, would this smell just amazing on a man. This is like it's a pretty complex chocolatey vanilla fragrance. It's got some flowers in it. I think it's got some like aromatic notes in it. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. The chocolate in it is more of like a powdered chocolate. It's fantastic. I cannot even imagine how amazing that smells on a man. This one is definitely listed as unisex, so it's not marketed for either. I I could see this on a man though, absolutely. I think it would probably just smell incredible. I'll have to see again. This one might lean a little bit too feminine for my husband, but I'll have to see if I can get him to test it for me so I can see, because these are fragrances that in my opinion, I think would smell amazing on a man, but I've never actually smelled on a man. So I need a guinea pig. I'm gonna leave these all out and I'm gonna see if I can make it happen. So anyways, that is Van Cleef and Arpels Orchid Vene. Okay, and in that same kind of vein, we have Gallagher fragrances, Wicked Good. This would smell phenomenal on man. This is even less sweet than Orchid Vene. And the tonka in this gives it a little bit of a masculine edge. Though, again, this is 100% unisex. I wear this fragrance like it's my job. This is one of my most worn fragrances in my collection. I am obsessed with this fragrance. And I think it would smell incredible on a man. It would probably, gosh, I can't even imagine. I bet a lot more of the tonka would come out on a man. And again, it's kind of like in the same realm as Orchid Vene, but less sweet and less complex. This is fantastic. This would just be like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how amazing a dude would smell in Wicked Good. So anyways, that is Gallagher fragrances, Wicked Good. And then last but not least, holy cow, this would be like a lady killer perfume for me. I can't even imagine what this would do to me to smell this on a dude. This is Lush Rentless. I love this perfume. This is tonka and patchouli and grapefruit. And this is such a unique, like, tonka patchouli scent. You get a ton of that grapefruit oil, so there's this really beautiful brightness to it. But something about the tonka and the patchouli mixed is so decadent smelling. Oh my gosh, and so like rich and syrupy and kind of sweet. It's beautiful. I would die to smell this on a man. This is one that I feel like is 100% like middle of the road. I don't think it leans masculine. I don't think it leans feminine. But I think this would smell amazing on anybody. It smells so good on me. I love this. I would love to smell this on a man. This one, again, it might be a little too like patchouli for my husband because he doesn't like patchouli at all, but I'll see. I'll try to get this on him so I could smell this on a man's chemistry. I love this though. I think it would just be incredible on a man. So anyways, that is Lush Rentless. And that is it, guys. Those are all of the either men's fragrances that I have in my collection or fragrances that I think would smell amazing on men that I have in my collection. I do hope that this was somewhat helpful. I hope that, I don't know, I hope it fills the request of the people that were wanting me to talk more about men's fragrances, because I felt a little bit better about that, feeling like I'm still talking about men's fragrances, but kind of staying in my lane of what I know. But yeah, I do hope that you all enjoyed this. And if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.